Moments ago, Congresswoman, and welcome, we heard from Vice President Biden. I'm turning to the Bloomberg. He says the president's comments are shameful and damaging. What response do you need to see from Republicans today to the president's 3 days of comments?
So I come from Michigan. Rashida Tlaib actually borders my district. And I will say that a number of my Michigan colleagues came out very strongly against the president's comments yesterday. It just has no place in the United States of America. It's divisive. It creates hate in this country. It's what's happening. We cannot tolerate it. We've got to stand up to it. And it's not what the president of the United States should be doing. He's supposed to lead us, unite us, not divide us.
Congresswoman Dingell, President Trump took Michigan by 10,704 votes, about 0.2%. It was that close. The 11th district flipped in 2018 in favor of the Democrats. What do you and Speaker Pelosi need to do to have moderate Democrats reassert themselves in the coming weeks?
So we got to, I mean, look, we can't have a circular scoring, I can't talk this morning. We got to get together. I've been talking with a number of my colleagues about how we got to pull ourselves together, all get in the same room and have an honest exchange. We need to talk about, we all share the same values. That's what our strength is. But we can't do this firing squad where we're hurting each other instead of helping the American people, which is what our job is. Go ahead.
Is the Democratic majority in the House at risk at this moment?
I don't think it's at risk, but I think that if we're not careful, if we don't, we need to talk about the issues that matter to the people, that why they elected us. So we have to be working for the people. We have to be delivering them prescription drugs and health care. You know, this court case in Texas is going to be very important if all of a sudden people with pre-existing conditions are no longer guaranteed health care anymore. You know, people really want to see us do something on infrastructure. It's a major business issue from one end of this country to another, and it's broader than just our roads and bridges. It's, you know, from broadband to rebuilding our schools. And, you know, one of the issues that I continue to hear is people want to see us clean up Washington. They think there's too much money in politics. They're worried about the Russians trying to take over our elections.
The president talked about a swamp. How's the swamp look on this Tuesday morning in July?
Well, you know, the Trump Hotel's not far from here, and he's making lots of money, and he's got lots of issues with his cabinet. You know, when I was in business before I came to this job, I bent over backwards, and I didn't matter what I did. Somebody might say something. I just can't believe how people are letting some things slide these days. I think the American people deserve a transparent government.
Congresswoman, it's Naira in London. What sort of message should Democrats like yourself be putting forward on immigration?
You know, the fact of the matter is that we are a country of immigrants. All of our, you know, my great-grandfather came over from Germany. And not that long ago, this country is strong because of our diversity. We need comprehensive immigration reform. Let's be really blunt about that. And it's so contentious, we haven't been able to do it for decades. We need to bring comprehensive immigration reform, but we can't treat children like they're prisoners and treat them that they can't brush their teeth or take a bath and they're getting sick. That's not who we are as Americans. And we need to start looking at our hearts and souls and remember who we are as Americans.
If we need to remember who we are, we just heard from our Kevin Cirilli, Congresswoman, about this extraordinary moment in Washington. I want to circle back to what Republicans need to do. I mean, George Romney was a Michigan Republican from another time and place. Everybody's looking for the middle ground. Some would suggest Debbie Dingell represents that middle ground. Where's the middle ground of the Republican Party a la George Romney of long ago?
Well, I think we got to come together. I think compromise isn't a dirty word. You know, I had some very philosophical discussions over the weekend about should you give in on anything. We need to make progress. You know, progress is what a progressive is. We need to keep moving forward. We need to listen to each other. We got to put ourselves in other people's shoes and look at the world from their perspective. And maybe we're not always right. We've stopped talking to each other. We've stopped listening to each other. We take positions and this is what's right. Maybe we get to the right by listening to different perspectives and building that right position.